All right, guys, welcome to the inaugural episode of NHL Aftermath with myself, Gene Edwards, and my good buddy Sam Jackson. How you doing, Sam?
I am doing great, as always, my friend. How are you doing?
Well, other than all these technical difficulties we've been dealing with today, I guess I'm doing okay and trying to move my mother into assisted living. It's been a bit of a day, Sam. It's been a bit of a day. I'll be honest
Fair
with you.
enough. Fair enough, man.
So, to all of you guys, welcome to this channel. This is this is the very first episode. This channel is going to be dedicated to NHL fans, okay? Those of you who have watched me on Lubed, it's not going anywhere. I will return into the fall with Lubed or whenever major stories break out. I probably will do an episode after the trade deadline, after free agency. But other than that, I'm pretty much back in the fall. I wanted to do this channel with Sammy because Sammy's a Vancouver fan and I'm an Oiler fan, and I can't convince him to go over to the right side of things, and it's just the way that is.
Nope.
So anyway, we decided to make a channel dedicated to NHL and the news stories. What you will see on this channel, and there's the banner of the channel for May 27th. But what you will see on this channel is the discussion points on a ticker at the beginning of every episode. And obviously, this week we're going to talk about Vegas and Florida. And now I emphasize Vegas and Florida, but Dallas is making a run here. They are making it very interesting as they won tonight. It is now 3-2 in that series, making it very interesting. But we're also going to discuss everything that's going on in Seattle, or not Seattle, sorry, in Arizona, and we're going to discuss the Toronto situation. So a few topics that we're going to talk about. We're going to probably run this for about half an hour or so, and we'll just give you our thoughts on what we think of everything here. So without further ado, Sammy, let's dive into this.
All right.
I changed this topic up just about an hour ago because of the fact that the Dallas Stars did end up winning tonight. Okay, this looked like it was going to be Knights in Vegas, or sorry, Knights and the Panthers. Okay, it looked like definitely, but now I wonder. You got Dallas going back into their building. This could be a very interesting series now. So, what are your thoughts there, buddy?
Well, not very many teams in NHL history have come back from being down 3-0. Very few teams. I think the last team that did it was, I think, the Los Angeles Kings in 2014 when I believe they were against the San Jose Sharks. San Jose was up 3-0 that series, and LA came back to win it. Before that, Philadelphia did it in 2010 against Boston, that's the famous series as well. Boston Bruins were up 3-0 that series. Philadelphia came back to win the next three, forced to game seven, and then Boston was up 3-0 in that game seven, and Philadelphia came back to win that game and move on and eventually go to the Stanley Cup final even. And before that, it had been like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years before that happened again. So the odds are not in Dallas's favor, but the fact that they've already forced a game six, they're looking good, and a team with momentum can really surprise everyone. I mean, again, look at what Florida's doing. Florida won that game 5 against the Bruins on a terrible gaff by Allmark in overtime. Suddenly now they're confident. They win game 6. Now they're even more confident. and then they're able to knock out the Bruins, which was a huge surprise. And now look at them; they stormed their way since then to the Stanley Cup final. Like, who knows? Like Dallas, I'm not writing them off. Absolutely, I'd love to see them come back. I think that'd be super entertaining. But the odds aren't in their favor, but it would be fun to see.
Oh yeah, I'm totally with you. What I've seen out of Florida in this playoff has been like watching Bobrovsky play and
Oh,
like
yeah.
lights. And this, honestly, this last little bit of the playoffs, it's about the goaltenders in every series. Ozinger, Bobrovsky, and then Nhl. So I'm going to ask you something there, Sammy.
Okay.
Out of those three goalies, Nhl, Bobrovsky, and Ozinger, who's got the best save percentage?
You know, you would think Bobrovsky, like you would think that'd be the obvious choice. I don't think Ottinger, because Ottinger's been pulled multiple times in playoffs, so definitely wouldn't be him. I feel like for some reason this is like a trick question that Aiden Hill probably has the highest save percentage. My gut says Bobrovsky, but I feel like you're trying to trick me here and it's like Aiden Hill.
You know me too well there, Sammy.
Yeah.
As of, and now, obviously, it's not including tonight's game. Nhl, 938. Sergei Bobrovsky, 935.
Oh my
Jake
goodness.
Ozinger, 899.
Jake Ottinger has 899.
Yeah, he's sub 900.
Wow.
Yeah.
Otter.
Yeah, I was actually quite shocked. I was like, wow, but that's, he's had a tough go in the first couple of rounds, so.
Well, he's been pulled, like I said, he's been pulled 4 or 5 times in the
Exactly.
playoffs, which is
Exactly.
insane.
Exactly. Sam, I don't think it caught my audio on that one. Ah, okay. So let's say they play the Dallas. Okay, so let's say Vegas still prevails.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Vegas versus Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you like?
Florida.
Okay.
I mean, sure, Aiden Hill's numbers have been great, but Aiden Hill's played one round, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he's really only played the conference final. He played, what, maybe 1 or 2 games. Did he play any games against Edmonton? He didn't, did he? He's only really played the conference
He
final.
came in relief when what's his face
Brassois got hurt in,
What?
like, what, game 6, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he came in to finish the series
He
off,
came in to finish the series off. Yeah.
and then he's played he's played all six
And
or 5
he's been
games here.
lights out. He's been lights out. He's gonna get paid.
He's
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 gonna get
he's
paid.
been good for sure, but Bobrovsky's done it for the entirety of the playoffs.
I know.
And
I
again,
know.
it's Bobrovsky. But don't knock on a young, unproven goaltender to just go crazy, because he could. But I don't know. Just I look at Florida and how good Sergei Bobrovsky's been, how good Matthew Tkachuk has been, and just how cohesive that team has been just in general. Like, Verhaeghe's been great. Brandon Montour has been a monster in these playoffs as well. That man played like 4 hours long in that 5 overtime game. Like, I swear he played every minute of that game. Like, he played a long time in that game. Like, everyone's been he's been fantastic. That team, like, I've been saying since they beat Boston. I said this about Florida, and I said this about Seattle. A team that has no expectations is the most dangerous teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Seattle, nobody picked Seattle. Like, barely anybody picked Seattle to beat Colorado. Defending Stanley Cup champions, they won their division. Colorado's a fantastic team. Nobody was picking Seattle.
And they got no pressure, Sam. They got no pressure.
That's what I mean. They had no pressure. And so when you have no pressure, you're kind of just playing for fun. Everyone's picking you to go out in 4. Florida, Seattle, everyone's picking you to go out in 4 games. Everyone's picking you to get swept. Well, suddenly Seattle manages to knock out Colorado. And it's like, oh, well, that was not expected. Florida suddenly, Florida, won game 1 against Boston, I think. And then Boston won the next 3. And everyone's like, all right, yeah, here we go. They're going back home. Okay, Boston lost the first game, whatever. But, it'll be next 4 straight. Goes to game 5 and Florida takes it and they go on this run. And again, nobody picked Florida. Boston has the best season in the history of the National Hockey League. Realistically, it's like, yeah, Boston, easy pick. But Florida, no expectation,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
just went for it. You
And I'll
know,
tell you what, like just what I think. Obviously, the first impression that I had with them was the fact that they beat the Bruins. The Bruins with that incredible record, and then to have it end like that is crazy. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think the Cinderella story is the Panthers this year. I mean, like it's all indicators are leaning towards the Panthers winning the cup, in my opinion.
But between Florida and Vegas, I like Florida, and also too, being a Vancouver fan, Luongo would technically win the cup because he's a part of their organization. So I'd love to see that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Just between the two of them, I like Florida more to win the cup in that way. So I guess we'll see what happens. I think something that a lot of people forget too about the Florida Panthers is the fact that they won the President's Trophy last year. They had like 122 or 123 points last year.
Yeah,
Like they
that's
were
true.
still a fantastic team last
But they
year.
had a very different team. They had a very different team. They didn't have Chuck.
Not really though. Like realistically, the only major
They
like
didn't have Giroux.
subtract.
They didn't have Giroux, or they had Giroux last year. I mean, there was a lot of, but Giroux
Yeah,
also came at the. But
Giroux,
yeah, okay, the presidents. Yeah, I get it.
Giroux was a rental,
Yes.
and yeah, you had Huberdeau and you had Uyghur,
Yeah.
but Giroux leaves. Okay, big deal. He was a pure rental
Yeah.
anyway. They weren't going
Fair
to keep
enough.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I see where
yeah,
you're going with this. Yeah.
Huberdeau
You
had
got me. You got me
yeah
on this.
Huberdeau had the same amount of points as Kachuk. He leaves.
Yeah.
And then Uyghur leaves, and Mark Stahl comes in place of Uyghur, essentially. Kachuk takes over for
Yeah.
Huberdeau in every sense of the word, and more or less Eric Stahl stepped in Claude Giroux's place. So realistically, the team wasn't that much different. Realistically, they underperformed in the regular season, and then they got hot at the perfect time. You know,
You betcha.
Paul Maurice looks like a genius of a coach right now. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's going to last 1 year at the end of the season." They're like, "Florida's going to get swept, and Paul Maurice will be out of the job. He's gone." And now he looks like a genius, getting this team to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time since 1996.
Perfect. Okay, Sammy, let's get on to the next topic. And that is going to be Arizona. What now? Is this the final straw for the Yotes in the desert? What is your thoughts on this?
Well, they uh, they've confirmed that they're going to be playing next season in Arizona, and they'll be playing their next season at Mullet Arena. And they still have their contract to play at Mullet Arena. I think goes for another 2 years beyond that. So the next 3 seasons, I think they're still have a contract to play at Mullet Arena. They could just try and ride that out because they have it and they have the ability to. They could try and ride that out, and that gives them a lot of time to figure out where they're going to go, what they're going to do, if they are going to move, or if they can approach uh, others like Scottsdale or any other city in the area that might want to take the Coyotes. We already know that Phoenix is not going to build a building for them and doesn't want them. The owner of the Phoenix Suns, the NBA team, doesn't want them to share a building. Tempe has said no. Mesa, I doubt they would make it work in Mesa. I don't know, Scottsdale maybe, but I think and kind of hope at this point that they just cut their losses and move. And I feel bad for Arizona Coyotes fans because there are a lot of dedicated fans to that franchise, and they have just been treated so terribly over the years with just a bad team with not a good track record of ownership, not a good track record of management, and the NHL has just tried to keep pumping them up, and it's just not worked.
Okay, Sammy, I'm going to give you a brief rundown of some of the, and this is definitely a very, if we were to get into the whole detailed history of the last 15 years of the Coyotes, we would
Yeah.
do a half-hour episode just on that. So
Oh,
I've
100%.
I've got just um, a few of the things that have happened here. We're going to start off with in August 6, 2005, Brett Hall, son of former Jet Bobby Hall, was signed and promptly assigned to the Elder Hall's retired number of 9. 2 days later, Wayne Gretzky was named himself the head coach, replacing Rick Bowness, despite the fact he never coached a game in any level of hockey. Uh, another thing that happened to them with their bad luck was they were supposed to host the 2006 All-Star game, but it was canceled because the NHL went to the Winter Olympics. So another thing of bad luck. In 2007, Rick Tocchet pleaded guilty to 2 charges in connection to illegal sports gambling, and he was the coach at that time. Most recent history has in 2021, the Coyotes were informed they were locked out of Gila River Arena on December 20th, 21, as they did not pay the $1.3 million owed in taxes, including a $250,000 city of Glendale. In late 2022, the Coyotes were in talks with Arizona State, ASU, to use their facility, which definitely got a lot of negative attention because it's like such a. I mean, you go with all these arenas with 18,000 plus, and then you go to a 5,000 seater. It was definitely a talking point. And then, obviously, most recently, the Coyotes needed a majority vote in favor of all 3 propositions. Ultimately, 56% of the residents voted no to propositions 301, 302, and 303 by a count of 57%. So that, like I say, that there, Sammy, is a bit of a brief history of what happened there, and that's not including everything. Like I say, that was just stuff from about 10 years ago to the current stuff. I just wanted to make it brief because we only have so much time on this channel to discuss that. What
Yep.
are your thoughts? Like, is it time?
I honestly, I think it is. Like, it just, and I feel bad. Like, again, like, I feel bad for Arizona Coyotes fans. Like, it sucks to have to be in this position, and to be in, like, just to be in this position, the depth of this position. You know, Arizona's been the blunt of the joke for multiple years now about relocation. Um, and now it's kind of coming to fruition. Like, it's on the forefront now. Everyone's like, yeah, they gotta move. They gotta move. And
But
I
but it's
mean,
been, but in all honesty, Sam, it's been in the forefront for years now.
well, that's what I
And
know.
it's
I
it's
know
the
that.
hill that Bettman will die on for whatever reason. Like he's just not willing to relocate him.
I know it's been on the forefront for years, but now it's like really on the forefront. Now it's like it is the front and present thing. You know, like it's been a rumor for a long time, or it's been suggested for a long time that they should move, but now it's like they pretty much have to at this point, since this arena deal fell through. Like they pretty much have to. And already, like if you look at all of the rumors about where they're going, Salt Lake City, Utah, is of all places the front runner to get the team.
You think so, eh?
Yeah, just from everything that I'm reading, the NHL, like everyone's like, no, they're going to go to Houston. But from everything that I've read, from all the sources that I've looked up,
Ooh,
the NHL wants Houston to be an expansion destination, not a
okay.
relocation, because they could charge $1 billion easily to put a team in Houston. You
But I'm
know
hearing
that
I'm hearing KC, man. I'm hearing KC.
I've seen the front row that I've seen is Salt Lake City, and then second I've seen is Kansas City. Um,
And guess what? I'm also hearing
what?
that they're going to stay in Arizona somehow.
Yeah, if they can figure it out, then fantastic. Keep the team where it is, because that's I mean probably well, I actually don't
I'm
even know if that's
hearing
the easiest option.
Meza might be the next destination for the Coyotes.
I don't know if Mesa would work, man. I don't see Mesa
I don't think
working.
it would.
But
I don't think it would.
yeah, I don't think it would. Like, I don't even think it's the easiest option to keep the Coyotes in Arizona at this point. The easiest option would be to move them. If they can make it work in the desert, then make it work. But I really think, like, especially again with Salt Lake City, they have the building that the Utah Jazz play in. The owner of the Utah Jazz has sat down and had dinner and meetings with Gary Bettman about putting a team in Salt Lake. And if the Coyotes are like, yeah, we are going to move, we have to move, we're going to sell the team and move, Salt Lake City is an easy option. It's a state over. I think it's a state over. Like, it's right there. It's not far down the road. It's very easy for him to just be like, boop, and plop it there. The arena's ready. There's going to be a built-in fan base and fans in Salt Lake. They're going to be excited to have another major sports team there. Like, I have lots of friends down in Salt Lake. I've been to Salt Lake. Like, they are nuts about their sports. They can make it work super easily there. And again, they have the arena to step in, or if Shanahan just takes over the role as general manager and president, that could happen. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they do for general manager wise. I also heard that Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, MLSE, had a say in, or potentially rumored that they had a say in getting rid of Dubas as well, that they poked at Shanahan to get rid of him.
Yeah, that's another situation. I'll tell you what, like, they wanted John Tavares a
Yep.
long time ago.
Yep.
They could have definitely got him for a lot cheaper. He's always wanted to be a Leaf. I'm
Yeah.
sure he would have came not for the, I don't know what it was, 11 million, 12 million that he, what
11
was
and a
it?
half, I think.
Yeah, something
11
like
or
that.
11 and a half, something
I'm
like
sure
that.
they could have okay if he's been a diehard Leaf his whole fan. For him to go and play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm sure they could have settled on 8 million.
Probably.
You know, and right there you would have got enough money to beef up your D a little bit, because that's the problem. They're too front loaded. The team has been too front loaded for years,
Yeah.
and now they're struggling. Like, I mean, you got an aging Giordano. Like, your only good defenseman was what's his name? Ah,
Morgan Riley, Luke
yeah,
Shen.
yes, O'Reilly or no Riley. You know, he was the stud in the playoffs. He was the
He
stud in the
was
playoffs.
he was incredible.
Yes, and Austin Matthews, absolutely nowhere to be seen. Same with Mitch Marner. I mean, I'll give a little bit of a kudos and a prop to Nylander, but realistically, this team is a bunch of overpaid underachievers. Let's be
100%.
honest.
100%. Nylander was their best player against Florida. And if Nylander is your best player, like, Nylander's a very good player. I'm not trying to knock Willie Nylander at all. He's a fantastic player, and I would love for him to be on the Canucks. But if he, on a team with John Tavares, with Austin Matthews, and with Mitch Marner, if William Nylander is your best player in a series, that's not good. That's not good. It just isn't. Like, your team at that point is drastically underperforming if Willie Nylander has to be your best player.
Yeah,
That's just,
definitely.
it's not good.
But all the stuff between Shanahan and Dubas in the last couple of weeks that came to the surface is,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a little disheartening. It almost sounded like Dubas was trying to do a lot of stuff that got kiboshed by Shanahan a little bit,
Yeah. That's what I heard.
and normally I hate it when owners and stuff like that get out and state their opinion on that. But we're talking about Shanahan. He's a former Detroit Red Wing, champion Red Wing, and he knows what it takes to win. So it's one of those things that how do you gauge that? How do you gauge, because he knows how to win.
Yeah.
And if he's saying nope to Kyle to do this and do that, because Kyle's a analytics kind of GM, simple as that.
Yeah.
But he's a numbers guy. Whereas Shanahan is a guy that has been there, has done it,
Yeah.
has won a cup. He knows what it takes to get there. It's who takes the rein on the horses, Sam.
I don't know. as the president of hockey operations, the person that does have pretty much complete autonomy, other than unless ownership comes down to you, because that like really that's what the president is. Like the president is the guy that runs the organization, for the ownership, so the ownership can focus on more running, other things or running an actual business. And the president is the one that actually oversees the operations and the business aspect of the hockey team. They are the ones that are able to veto anything. They have the veto power. They can overtake or override whatever the GM wants to do. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's an odd situation that the Toronto Maple Leafs have found themselves in currently. It's an odd
I would,
situation.
I would say so. Anyway, Sam, I think we're pretty much done here. I think my Darth Vader voice and C3PO voice is done for this week. Hopefully, it will not return next week. I apologize for all the hiccups, guys. Again, this is a work in motion as we're trying to figure out all the tech issues. We had several tech issues today. But we do plan on coming on every single Saturday with this channel, NHL Aftermath. And other than that, guys, I think we are out. Sammy, why don't you mention to the guys, hit like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. Do your
Sure.
thing, man.
Sure, can do. So yeah, if you like this video, hit like and subscribe. Tell all your friends, pass it along. We're trying to, make this as big as we can. We're just two guys, two friends that love talking about hockey. If you love listening to guys talk about hockey, then you're in the right place.
And apparently, I love talking in the Darth Vader voice. So yeah.
I like Star Wars too, so I'm good with it.
All right, Sammy, we are done. Just remember, guys, there is a comment section, and we will post your comments or questions live when we are doing this. Obviously, we had 0 people tune in tonight, but as time grows and this channel grows, we will definitely air your comments. Other than that, we will see you next week, guys. Enjoy and have a great night.